Hey, what's up guys? So today I'm gonna, excuse me, today we're gonna do a video on the setup I got for my Cabela's Advanced Angler 120. The guy keeps barking away. Anyways, we're gonna do a video on that. It's been 1 year, actually probably about a year and a half since I got this kayak, and I wanted to give you some outlook on how it performed, how it held up, and the durability. Just to let you know, I have fished this in a lot of different areas. I fished it in rough saltwater, out in the Puget Sound, gone a little bit in open water, not too far from the shore, which I'll explain why, and a lot of lake and a lot of pond fishing. And we'll hit up all the different areas from there. All right, let's go. Okay, so we're gonna start it from the front. Here, you got the front of this boat. As you can see, I got this lawn chair that I tied off as a red flag. I usually use my PT belt, but law says it's got to be red over here, so I had to switch it up. We moved to the front of the hull, and what you're going to notice is I put my tackle box storage right here. This is where I keep all my plastics, all that good stuff. And this actually has a lot of space to it. I'll show you here. So here it is, the amount of space that we got. It's a pretty decent amount of space. It's pretty good for storage, quick access, and you can get to it real easy from there. Also, wanted to make note that if you come around to this side, hopefully the lighting's fine, you got a nice little drainage right here, which I got my wires running through. That allows all the water that gets up in the front of here, especially when you launch, go ahead and just run right back out. It's also a nice spot where you're going to run your wires up through when you're putting your transducer in for your fish finder. Move up here and you'll see we have these rod tip protectors, because you can lay your rods out. I'll go all over the whole thing. Lay your rods out right down there, right through here in this weld, and the only downfall of that is eventually they end up resting right around here in this area up by the seat, so they can't get in your way at times. I honestly usually use this when I am on the road and I don't want to store all my fishing rods in my truck. You also have this security right here. You just rotate this around, hook it up, and then that keeps it secure. All right, as we move up to the front, you'll see I got my Lowrance fish finder on there. So they got a nice cheapie for it. Mounts perfectly. Almost, I got a text. Mounts perfectly right up on here. It's a great platform for it. I've seen some people, they like to push it towards this back area. Sometimes I liked it closer to me just so I didn't have to go up too far to get it. And inside here is where I got my battery and any other little things that I wanted, like my random bag of plastics. Okay, moving down here, we got a nice little cup holder. We got this little eye bolt right here, this iPad bolt. It originally was for a strap that you can put on there so you can go ahead and help yourself stand up. I personally didn't need it, so I went ahead and took it off just so it was out of the way. Also, you got these scupper holes right here. Now what I did was I plugged them up with these little rubber golf balls that you can buy off Amazon really cheap, just to keep the nastiness out, because I did notice a lot of times when I was fishing ponds and other areas like that, a lot of nastiness would get inside, and that really helped in mitigating letting a lot of the nasty foam and whatnot inside. All right, right here you got this nice skid plate right here. This is really good for staying stable while you're standing up on your boat. Very wide. There's not a lot of storage area, but that's so you can go ahead and make maximum opportunity for your fishing area. So that way, you know, you could stand up, turn around, whatever you got to do. It's very, very stable boat. All right, when talking about stability, I really want to reiterate just how stable this boat is. I volunteered with this group called Heroes on the Water. We take veterans out just to relax, de-stress, and a great opportunity, or a great organization. If you ever want to look into it, Heroes on the Water. But anyways, we do a safety class, for all the volunteers at the beginning of the year, and this past spring, you know, we had to do a flip yourself out of your kayak and get back in it. Well, I tried flipping that thing. It was not going. I was all the way to the point where I was on one side of the kayak, standing on one foot, trying to get that thing to flip over. It would not. I eventually lost my balance and fell in. You know, I was rocking it back and forth too. This thing would not flip over, I'm telling you. But I did fall out, and I was able to get back in real easy. But this boat did not flip. So if you're worried about flipping over, this boat will not flip over, I promise you. Unless you're an extremely heavy person and you're in some pretty rough water, it will not flip over. All right, moving back onto the boat. I got these Scotty rod mounts that I use right on the front of these glide rails right here. These things are solid. They no wear and tear whatsoever, and I slide these things up and down all over the place. Never had an issue with them. I use them for trolling. I use them for holding my rods. I've caught some pretty big salmon and trout while those were still in there while I was trolling around, and they work out pretty good. And the fact that you could slide them up forward all the way back, and there's a lot of room if you want to set up a camera or something, makes it really nice. Okay, onto the seat. The seat has to be one of the most comfortable things about this kayak. This seat is amazing. Metal frame seat. My only issue with it is I wish it had some type of storage underneath, because like I said, there isn't very much room for storage in this boat. There's a lot of room for it, there's just not a lot of storing options. Alright, so now I'm going to show you actually just how this seat works. This seat has a lot of pluses and a lot of advantages to it. Oh, boats are rocking. One of the big things is the adjustability. Alright, so you have this option where you can ride it high when you're, you know, fishing lakes or something like that, ponds, areas where you necessarily, you know, you're not going to be hitting some rough water. If you want the stability, too easy. Go ahead, drop it down. It sits real low, so that way you got a good center of gravity if the water's kind of choppy. Say you want to relax. Once again, too easy. You can go ahead and put it into a recline type style where you can sit back. I don't know who does too much fishing like that, but maybe you just want to relax and slow down the water, and you need that. And then finally, if you're standing up, put this thing on back, you can, and you have all this deck space to work with. Here, I'll even show you. So you got all this deck space right here to work with. Very good. Very good. Okay, moving on down. Once you flip the seat up, you can notice I keep this broken measuring tape here for my measuring, since I'm too cheap to get a hog trough. I actually just ordered one, so it should be coming in soon. You have these little retaining clips right here on the seat. These retaining clips do a really good job. They're a little cheap, but they do a great job in case you want to, you know, hold your pliers in or anything like that. I got those on there, and even double kill it, I got a nice pair of fish grips right here on the side. If you don't have some fish grips, I highly suggest getting them. They're super easy to use. There was one time I was fishing for salmon, got a salmon on, and was able to use this and grab him right on the other side of the boat, right before he almost shook off my hook. Because here in the Puget Sound, you have to fish with barbless hooks, so if you don't keep constant tension on that line, whew, that fish is going bye-bye. But like I was saying, my only big complaint with the seat is it would be nice if they had some type of storage underneath here, or if there is an accessory. But overall, after a year of using, this seat has not worn down, and I mean, I use the heck out of this thing. So once again, very good option. Okay, I got the seat in the down position right now. If you notice, the amount of storage that you have in here, you have these little side pockets, one on either side, and that's pretty much the only actual like made for storage area is on this boat, besides that little area right there. But like I said, I put my fish finder battery in there, all my wires, and you know, like this bag of random plastics that I just keep around.
from old used stuff because I'm horrible at never throwing stuff away. All right, moving on. We got these adjustable pedals right here. These pedals, I was really worried when I first got this a year ago that these were gonna break really easy. But honestly, they've held up really strong because it doesn't seem like it's very, solid material, just like normal plastic. But I use this a lot and it has not broke or anything yet. They are kind of annoying at times when you want to reach down to these pedals, twist it, and push and pull. But once you get them worked in, they're pretty easy to go. Wanted to touch back up on the seat real quick. So when you're actually moving around and you're storing it, this seat's pretty awesome because you can just flip it upside down or let it lay flat, so that way when you're rolling around and moving, it's not in the way. Another good thing to the seat though, added to the storage part, is there is a little bag here. It's not a dry bag as far as I know, but I keep my gloves in there, fishing license, marker for catch cards, whatnot. So overall pretty good. It just clips right in the back there, and like a year later I have not had an issue with that busting, breaking. And like I said, I can't emphasize enough that I use this all the time. Keep on moving to the back. Got a little pad eye right here, used for securing. Maybe you want to roll with your tackle box back there, still in. I don't do it, but hey, it's there if you want it. We got these two welding in fishing holes right here with the aftermarket, or these aren't aftermarkets, they came with it, but the little flush ones put on there, so it's not the mold in. I used to store my big net. I usually used to use a smaller net. I went and moved up to a bigger net because I was starting to lose some fish right at the boat. As soon as they see that kayak, they start going crazy, especially if it's a big one. And I like to fish, if you can't tell by my rods, with a lot of light stuff, just because it makes it a lot more fun. I only have a couple heavy rods. Keep on going to the back. So you got a lot of room in the back here for storage. I use a milk crate, and I put my Plano boxes in there, and I'm good to go. I also, it had enough room to where I could put these, hopefully the lighting's good enough, where you can, I bought this Berkeley rod mount holder, and that's right, put those in there, so I had plenty of room for all my rods. But yeah, worked pretty good. Moving. So in the back here, I just wanted to emphasize again, lots and lots of space. There are underneath here 2 scuffle holes, and you can use that to, I plug it up just because I don't really fish in situations where I need them, so I plug them up so once again I don't get all that gunk in there. I have found a lot of gunk in the back of here when I fish some, pretty gunked up lakes and stuff with a lot of cover. Bungee straps, a year later, nothing's broke. I use these to help secure to my truck, and I've been hooking it up to these pad eyes that they got for the bungees here, and like I said, a year later, nothing's broke on this. It's outstanding. Move to the back. So the very end, you do notice this is one of my major complaints about this. So this right here is the drainage for the water. It's pretty annoying because this is a very heavy boat. This boat, 100 pounds, 150, I gotta look it back up, but it's over 100 pounds, I know that for sure, with nothing in it. So it's a very heavy boat. And sadly, this thing does retain some water at times. I'll notice a lot, like water will get underneath here, underneath this storage, and there are scuffle holes underneath there for it to leak out, but somehow water does sometimes get in the hole. That could be my fault. Maybe I screwed in my transducer wrong, but I used, everything that you're supposed to use, so I assumed it was should have been good to go. One of the few things that did break on this boat since I got it were the retaining strap for the paddle. So that busted about 6 months in on it, and I started using this one. So far, no frays or anything like that. Excuse me. What literally happened was it just frayed away right here and broke off one day. Luckily, I didn't lose my paddle, so it was fine. Man, she's dirty. I need to clean her up. Okay, still concentrating on the back here. On both sides, you got these oh my gosh, I can't talk today. Glide rail mounts right here. Those work out pretty good. I can use it for my GoPro or something like that when I'm filming with my GoPro if I don't want it up in the front. I've had no issues with those. I haven't used those as much as the front ones, but they work great. Another cool feature is it's very solid, sturdy plastic right here. And this right here is pretty much here. It's just a handle, but it's very sturdy, and it helps me when I actually do got to lift this thing up to drain it, push it around. Overall, 1 year later, this boat has proven it is very, very tough, very, very solid boat. I hope this helps, you know, if you are venturing out into buying one. The amount of wear that this thing gets is really not bad at all for the price. This is roughly, you know, find anywhere between $800 and $1,000. It's this pretty much the exact same thing as the Big Fish 120, probably made by the same company, the Three Rivers company. Great boat. No complaints out of it. Too much. Y'all go into that here in a minute. Okay, so we hit up most of the key features on the boat, and I kind of wanted to hit up to you guys some of my major complaints with it. I already hit up some of those ones, talking about the paddle strap, you know, fraying off, the amount of water that it can hold at times. I've never been in danger of it flooding, ever. Like, there's never been water in there to the point where I'm standing in water or anything like that. When I'm saying water, it's like I get off the lake, I go to load it up on my boat, I tip it, and I can hear a little slushing, you know, nothing bad. Like I've said, I've taken this thing out in extreme conditions. I'm talking really windy, rough, salt water, almost considered ocean type situations, swells. This boat is not made for that. I guarantee you that. It is not made for that. You will not move. This boat is rough to paddle. It does not move very fast in the water. I know some people that they put a motor on it for the back because it's, you know, so big and bulky. It runs just like a boat. Personally, I don't do that, but you can if you want. There's a lot of videos out there where people are making mods for that. But overall, this thing, it's not very fast in the water. And I've been out in the water on a situation where it was rough, the tide was going out, the currents were strong, and I sat there paddling for about a solid 20 minutes, and I don't think I went almost anywhere. You know, I was actually a little scared that day. But overall, it's a very, very good boat. Just watch out if you plan on fishing, you know, rough open water, areas with really strong currents or tides. I don't recommend it. You might be better off getting something a little sleeker, maybe something with a pedal drive system or a propel drive system. But when it comes to, you know, lakes, ponds, fishing skinny water, this thing is clutch. And like I said, it is very, very stable. Even in those rough conditions where I was bouncing around, I did not flip over at all. I was taking water in. It was very up and down and all over the place, but I did not flip. I was never in danger of flipping. And I even rode a surf one time in on it, which made me really nervous, but rode a surf in one time on it, and it didn't flip over, you know. If I wasn't angling it right, probably could have, but overall, this is a great boat. Like I said, ponds, lakes, all day long. Not going to go very fast, but it will get you to where you need to go. You can creep up right on those pads. You can stand up, turn around, do whatever you want to do on this boat when you're bass fishing, especially for bass fishing. It is great for that. And that's why even if I do end up getting another kayak, which I am soon, I'm not going to get rid of this guy. This boat's going to stick with me for quite some time until the wheels fall off. And, you know, a year and a half later, and it's been through a lot of use and a lot of abuse. I'm still kicking, still doing great. So overall, I fully endorse it. You know, if this is an option for you and you meet all those criteria, by all means, go get this boat. It is standing the test of time, and I have no doubt that it'll keep standing the test of time. All right, thanks y'all for watching. You have a good one.